Hi guys, and welcome to another edition of Marek Connell English. Now, in these videos, I'm going to help you with the Escuela Oficial speaking exam. I'm going to give you an example of what a native speaker would say in these situations. Today, we're going to talk about relationships. Now, the monologue part of the Escuela Oficial exam lasts between 3.5 and 4 minutes. Normally you have 5 to 8 questions which you can answer. Now you have to choose one of these questions, at least one, but you can answer 3, 4, 5, as many as you want to. But you can also equally choose one question and just focus on speaking about that for 3.5 minutes. I would always recommend preparing maybe 3 or 4 sections. So if you run out of time during the exam, you can always switch to another question to fill the time that you have left. Now you normally have probably around 10 minutes to prepare for the monologue and the dialogue of the Escuela Oficial speaking exam. What happens is, while 2 other candidates are doing the speaking exam, you are preparing and making notes. And then when they finish, you and your partner go in and you do the monologue and the dialogue, and you can use your notes to help you. Okay, so relationships. Question number 1. Changes in the concept of the family. Okay, so nowadays families are changing quite a lot. Divorce is something that is happening a lot nowadays. People get married and then 5 minutes later they get divorced. Sometimes they also have children during their relationships, so it's becoming more and more common for there to be stepchildren in families and for children to have half brothers and half sisters. Question number 2, the right time to fly the nest. Well, with the financial situation that we have at the moment, it's becoming more and more difficult for young adults to find the right time to leave home. In Britain, people leave home a lot earlier, maybe at the age of 18, 21, usually through the process of university, young adults will leave home. I think it's becoming more and more common for people to stay with their parents, children to live at their parents' homes for longer until they can afford to either rent or to buy a house and move out. Question number 3. Our society's response to the issue of the elderly. Now, the topic of becoming old is quite a touchy subject, and we have a lot more old people on the planet now because medicine is becoming more advanced and we have a lot more facilities and resources to help people to live longer, and that's a very good thing. But at the same time, we have a lot more work to try and keep those people alive and living a good life. I think at the moment, unfortunately, people's attitude towards elderly people is that they send them to an old people's home and they go there and they're forgotten about. I think it's very nice when a family has the resources and the time to take care of a effectively the people who took care of them when they were growing up. But because our lives are so busy nowadays, that's becoming more and more difficult to do. So I think the important thing is to try and find the time to respect and to take care of elderly people. Definitely, I think elderly people are wiser than us youngsters. They've had the experiences, they've got the knowledge, and really we should really appreciate the time we have with them and listen to their ideas. Question number 4, parents staying together for the sake of their children. This is a difficult topic. I mean, again, families are changing. People are getting divorced. I think divorce is around 50%. I think around 50% of marriages end in divorce. I think children should always be a priority for parents, but at the same time, parents are people, and you have to think about yourself sometimes as well. I think it's difficult. It's a difficult question to answer. I wouldn't say that it's always the best thing for parents to stay together just because of their kids, but I also think that if you have kids, I think they can be the reason for you staying together. I think you can find inspiration in your kids, and if you don't have kids, it is often easier to go your separate ways. But when you have kids, then you have more responsibility, and you have to dedicate your life to bringing up those children and supporting your family. Question number 5. How are family relationships different from those with friends? I think the difference between family and friends in terms of relationships is becoming blurred. I think probably 20, 30 years ago, we had a much stronger connection to our families. And now, again, the family concept is changing. People are traveling a lot more, and I think we obviously try to keep in contact with our family and friends, but at the same time it's quite difficult, and we lead very busy lifestyles, so it's difficult to keep in contact, and things like Skype and WhatsApp make it easier, and the fact that you have the weekends sometimes free, and you can have dinner with your friends and catch up for coffee and things like that, that's a godsend. I think the value of friendship and family differs for different people. Some people might think their friends are more important to them. Some people might say that they tell their friends things that they would never feel comfortable telling their family, and vice versa. Some people have a very strong connection with their families, and their friends are secondary. Question number 6. Different friends at different stages of your life. Now, this is definitely true, in my opinion anyway. I think friends are people that help you grow throughout your life, and at some stages they outgrow you, or you outgrow them, and you have to move on. And I think that's just a fact of life. But I think at the same time, it's important to have friends that are always going to be there for you. And I think friendship also depends on interests. So, maybe at one point you're interested in one activity and, you make a lot of friends in that area, and then maybe a few years later or a few years down the line you're interested in something else, and you have a totally different group of friends. And I think we also tend to have different groups of friends based on our different interests. We'll have kind of friends that we enjoy going out with, friends that we enjoy doing various activities with, and things like that. Question number 7, relationships with neighbours. This is a strange one. I think, again, it depends on the kind of person you are. I've lived in places where I've had a really good relationship with my neighbours, and I've lived in other places where I've hardly ever seen them. I know that where my mum lives, we've got a really good relationship with our next door neighbour, and we sometimes do the typical thing like ask if we can borrow some sugar, or they come over for a cup of tea or something like that, and that's really nice. I think relationships with neighbours are the same as friendships. It's something that you have to work on and develop over time. Question number 8, marriage, the perfect state for adults. Well, I think the statistics indicate otherwise. The statistics indicate the contrary. Nowadays 50% of marriages apparently end in divorce. So I think, for some people, again, it might be the perfect state, but it seems to be not true at the moment. But I think if you're lucky enough to know that you found the one, then you can get married and have a wonderful life and enjoy yourself a lot. Me personally, I don't think I'm ever going to get married. I don't really believe in the concept, but that's my personal opinion. So each to their own, as they say. Okay, so again, I have probably gone over the 3.5 minute threshold, but I've focused on answering each of these questions. Now you could equally just choose one of these and speak for 4 minutes about it in the exam, but like I said before, I think it's always better to prepare 2 or 3 of these points, so that if you run out of things to say for one topic, you can always move on to another topic. Okay, so I hope that helped you with the preparation for the Escuela Oficial speaking exams. Again, if you have any questions or comments about the videos, or ideas for how I could make them better, let me know in the comments below, and I will try to include those things in the next video. Okay, so thanks. Good luck with your exams.